Glory in the highest. So, unfortunately for you all, the prostitutes have officially won, and we now have understood the methodology of their diaspora to, take over the world. So basically, what went down is, there's the biggest hooker on earth called Teresa, and she decided to dog my father, my biological, meaning Nicholas, and she took him for a loop. She came in, once I was, back in Lebanon for a 10-day visit, supposedly out of Moss Creek. I was supposed to go visit my mother and come back, but she came into the funeral room. She put a graveyard spell, and then progressively she was gifting me for Christmas rings with yellow birthstones when my birthstone is pink. And now I researched to see what that meant. The yellow birthstone is indicative now of the hooker that married, the people, in my name to acquire Aurora Diamond Rainbow for Citizen. And so, her plan was to divert the divine plan from, May, the initial mother of all creation goddess, meaning Maya, my, birth mother, that is the oracle. So she came in, the Therese thing, to distract my dad and to, say, oh, why are you bringing her up here to the mountain? You said she wouldn't be welcome here. This is she shouldn't be here. Why is she here? And then, the only moment that, I was supposed to go up to my mountain house with my father that day, and instead he's like, oh, I'm already there. When I was getting ready to go with him, I'm already there. You should just go to somebody, to this girl's, party, la la la. So I went to the other girl's party. I was wearing a Wonder Woman costume that night, and it was a Wonder Woman theme. And then the Teresa thing called me 35 times, shivering, because my father fell down up in the mountain gardens and broke his hip because of her black magic. When I'm around him, he doesn't get hurt. When May is around him, he doesn't get hurt. So this Teresa was a demonic hooker. Her plan, and she would always reiterate to my father, no, it's not my dreams, it's not the real Aurora's dreams to get married and breed. That's Nicholas's dreams for her. So she programmed my dad to accept to put 2 beds in my room up in the mountains, because she convinced him that I was going to accept that I have all of a sudden a fraud sister that's name is Aurora, which is not myself, and that I all of a sudden have to become a boy with who acquiesces to all of a sudden have a fraud sister from God knows where, that all that they've ever done is grow up in Russia, then go to Dubai, do the prostitution jobs that they do. They just, basically suck dick for a Rolex. And then they brought her here, and, I did all the work in Shasta, and Amy is on the side of Teresa, apparently. So is the Russell guy. So Amy and Russell tricked, Jonah into doing this, thinking that in the end I'm going to, end up, bouncing up and down and being all happy about their plan. But instead, lucky for me now, my father left the Teresa hooker. He's gonna remove one of the beds from my room, and next thing there is no way in hell that the Totliana thing is gonna keep the Aurora, because it simply isn't an archaea. I mean, I have no idea why Amy would acquiesce to that. I mean, what is she winning by failing mission? So then now I have a general, big warning for all in creation regarding this COVID vaccine thing, do not take it, because the plan is to dumb you all down, and then come the day, because they're gonna fail. Like, she's not an archaea, it's not gonna be heaven on earth. So Earth surface is gonna be unlivable. Like, all now the dark provisional programming MK Ultra of the Hollywood darkness, which they got David into through Christine the hooker from Germany there, before the Christine hooker from Russia. Once Earth's surface is no longer habitable, you know, all the idiots who took the vaccines will be microchipped to go into the underground chambers with a hierarchy from Hollywood. So if you're part of that elite group, you get entrance to that chamber with those orgies. If you're part of, because there's no way that they can maintain the ecosystem and fauna and flora with the hookers, because that's anti-nature and anti-divine plans. So I have no idea how now this is going to be fixed. I don't even know anything about this COVID reception of the relief, since my taxes cannot really go through. And that's about as far as things go in actual factual terms. And that's all that we can say to anyone in creation right now. It's under severe red alert. Jonah is like basically like, oh my God, he wants me so bad, but oh my God. And then, he keeps, losing, so he can't seem to be able to denaturalize the thief hooker and, end the fraudulent systematics. And the police cannot do anything. All in creation, are now deeply programmed to want me to accept that all of a sudden now I'm a boy, and that Teresa is the virtue of all virtues, in conglomeration with whoever she chose. And that's, I don't know how this is going to be undone, but it is a very malevolent plan. I'm actually really terribly sorry that I did go to Shasta to begin with. I had no idea that, Amy is, supporting Teresa, the hooker, and the, Russian mafia prostitutes, and marrying Jonah with a hooker in my name, and separating us at source while pretending she's all about mission for planetary liberation and, victory for the light. Like, it's 5 years of lies. Had they told me 5 years ago that that's what they did, we would have been in a lot less planetary damage now. And that's this whole COVID relief thing is just basically, them reaffirming that the slaves have won. Like, this money should not go to these means at all. Should be used for mission. And what are these people going to do with the 1400 anyways? They're like illiterate now, and they're dumbed down, and they're sick, and they're really poor, and they're miserable. They're going to spend it, ignoramusly for ignoramus reasons, and they're all devolved, and they have no mother figure. They have a hooker for a mother now, and Amy obviously despises the grounds I walk on to have dared to even think these thoughts, and that's about that. I have no idea how to salvage the situation. Jonah is, he's dogged. He's Russia's dog. So are you all? That's what's basically going on. So now all the cops, all the hotels, all, the banks, kicked me out because she inherited my money, my home from Kelly, my car, my driver license for Aurora, everything. And that's apparently the state of affairs. So it is a pretty sad situation, but it is what it is.